Morning, everyone. It is Saturday. It is my Bitcoin weekly wrap up with the one and only Coach Nick Massey from Lead Prayer HoDL. So, morning, man.
Good morning, man. I'm happy to be here. It's been a great week overall, just in my life. I hope yours has been as well. And I'm excited for some positive energy. And if anybody has some questions later, I look forward to hearing from them.
Yeah, it's a new year. Everything is kicking off. I mean, it's been another volatile week I saw with Bitcoin, right? I think it dipped a little bit. So maybe let's talk about that. So, what's been the most important Bitcoin development this week?
Well, in the beginning, ETFs went from really record buying fast to fast selling at towards the end of the week. Got up to 94,000, back down to the 90, 89, 90, 91 range. But it's institutions trading, not panicking. That's what people need to really understand. Because Bitcoin, to me, is officially getting into Wall Street assets now, and they love the volatility. See, you or me, our portfolio goes down 5% or up 5%. We get a little nervous, we get stressed out because it's so volatile. But for them, they're actually trading, right? The average person is just holding, right? And that's great. HODLing is important. But those of you that are hodling need to maybe sometimes shut off your brokerage account and stop looking at it. But those are people who are trading. They love the volatility. You see it in Tesla the same way. Goes up to 499, then it drops down to 420. Oh my gosh, the world's crashing. But that's just the big boys of Wall Street making moves with their options, whether they're trading long, selling covered calls, they're making moves. The same thing happens with Bitcoin. All cryptos, but Bitcoin's obviously a lot more secure. It's a slow moving dinosaur, but it's secure. And that's why people love it. And so ETFs are investing, Wall Street's getting after it. And that's really what's going on behind the scenes.
So I think a lot of times people look at it as price, though. But is there something that they should be considering more than price? I guess in a sense, you kind of touched on it just now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're considering anything, I really would look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps or follow my channel for the daily auto every single day. If you look at a heat map, you could just type it up and it'll show you something on Coinbase or not. There's going to be these yellow lines that go on the screen, and you could do it on the 24-hour, the 48-hour, the 1 week, 2 week, so on. And those yellow lines mean people are perp trading, meaning they're putting high leverage, 100x times or 50x or 25x. People are putting big money out there. They're leveraging it. And the traders on Coinbase and Wintermint and everything else, they're going to move the coins around to always grab the longs, always get those big shorts, because they're not going to lose 100x of their money, right? So they're going to grab yours as fast as possible, but they'll kind of let more people put in betters before they go after it. So it might stay steady. Like right now, if you looked at Bitcoin, I bet you it's like a 90,450 area, and it's stayed like almost to the penny all day for the last 24 hours. And that's going to happen. And then Sunday, Saturday night's going to make some movements. And by Sunday, we got a lot of movement again in volume, because they're just they're kind of like setting traps, little mouse traps for people to come and take nibbles at and bites. And some people get confidence and they perp trade that. But before you know it, they're going to grab you. They're going to take your money and they're going to get billions of dollars real quick. And all they do is buy more coins. So then they have more coins, they have more control, and they can manipulate the price even more until there's crypto leverage trading that stops from the crypto bills.
So before I move on, I just want everyone to know Nick is also streaming on his channel. So go check it out there. Subscribe if you haven't. I believe you said you're up to 19 now?
318, 319, somewhere in that range. My goal's 1,000, but I got to go every little bit at a time. Everyone counts. Hey, guess what, guys? I'm giving you a discount. It's free to subscribe. So check it out.
Right. So when development like this happens, it naturally raises, the question of what to do next, right? So with all this volatility lately, is this a time to accumulate Bitcoin, hold steady, or sit on cash, and why?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, don't chase the pumps. It does mess with your mind. You're psychologically, you're like, man, I'm FOMOing. I'm missing out right now. It's about to do the banana zone. It's going to rip 50, 100%, and I don't want to miss it. So you start buying in. That's never the time to buy in. Don't chase the pumps. Don't ever chase the pumps. I'm telling you right now. Just like the streetwalkers, don't chase those pumps either, right? It's all the same.
Oh, whoa, easy.
I know.
No.
You get my point.
Yeah.
The real truth is buy fear and hold with conviction. When it's down, when people are scared, when you're on X and everyone's talking bad about it, that's the best time to buy. That's when I make some of my most money, is when I buy in. When there's blood in the streets, it's time to buy. I guarantee you that. I can't guarantee it because it's not financial advice, but you get my point. Spend your money as you like. But volatility rewards the patient. And if you could just wait for that tweet or something bad to happen online and scare everyone out, that's all they're doing is algorithms moving the needle on X and online and scaring people, and they sell, they panic sell, they fear sell, and then they grab all the longs, like I said, from the perp trading. So just literally don't chase the pumps, buy fear, hold with conviction.
Do you think people kind of get too clever with this? Like it's, that's where danger comes from. They're trying to get too clever with Bitcoin in a sense.
Well, it depends what they're doing and what you mean by clever. If they're getting too clever by trying to day trade it with actual Bitcoin, it's almost impossible for the average retail investor to do so, because on the Bitcoin exchange, you got to pay a percentage to buy the coin and a percentage to sell the coin. Usually it's about 0.7 or so. Well, that takes away a lot of the profit in that movement. If you notice some of these buys and dips, they're right in that range the whole time. Does that make sense? So in that range, are you going to sell it? No, because you'll lose money. Are you going to buy it? It's tough because you're going to lose money. In the beginning, you automatically lose money. That's why I buy IBIT personally, because there's a long-term fee of the year, but no immediate fee right then and there. And so I think it's safer to buy IBIT. The problem is, on the weekends, Bitcoin is moving 24/7, so you could get in and out of it, no problem. When it comes to IBIT, you're stuck for the weekend, and you got to get into those trading hours. 5 p.m. Pacific over here on the West Coast, right? On Friday, it stops, and then 5 p.m. on Sunday, it opens back up with low volume, but you can still trade it. But if anything happens in between, you're stuck. Your hands are tied. So a lot of people like Bitcoin because they can get out of it, but it's usually the institutional traders that are taking advantage of everybody.
So while retail people are kind of trying to debate the question on what to do, institutions are kind of acting quietly, right? So how are institutions and ETFs behaving right now? And what does that tell us about where Bitcoin could be headed next?
And well, so many times you're seeing the big institutions, they're taking profits. That's what that sell is. They can get you going at 94,000. They make a couple grand on each coin and they're making money. So they're not abandoning Bitcoin, they're taking profits. And when you move a lot of coins at one time, those profits push down the price and then they get to buy in cheaper. That's why I talk about this all the time on my channel until they pass that crypto bill, which they're going to vote on again next week through the Senate, but it still has more days. It might be March or April till it officially goes to the president's desk, because they got to send it back to the House with the new adjustments. But the wash trade rule allows people to sell their Bitcoin and buy it back that same day. That's different than anything else in stocks, right? You cannot do that. That's called the wash trade, and you do not get credit for those losses. Well, Bitcoin's different. You might even sell some of the ones you did right before December 31st, buy it back right away, write off those losses in Bitcoin, and then you're all set for the next new year. So it's different. They're taking profits. They're not abandoning Bitcoin. Also, there's a lot of money that's rotating, right? They're rotating into the strongest ETFs like IBIT, and they rotate out as well. Some of them have it in their 401ks where they're not being taxed. So they're okay to trade without the penalties of those things. So they're probably doing that as well. But smart money, they're staying calm and they're not emotional. And they know that one Bitcoin always equals one Bitcoin. A lot of people get it priced in dollars, but that's going to change one day, but it takes time.
And that kind of brings us into the broader macro picture, right? So there's reporting about Donald Trump calling for larger scale purchases of mortgage-backed securities. What does that signal about rates, liquidity, and why could that be bullish or bearish for Bitcoin?
Yeah, we saw that immediately after, so quick, right? The Bitcoin or the real estate rates already went down to 5.99%, under 6%. It's been a couple of years since that's even happened. So basically, more bond buying equals more liquidity equals easier money, and easier money usually helps Bitcoin and could help the housing market as well in terms of getting more transactions going. A lot of people don't want to sell their house, right? They got a great rate, but if those rates come down, they might be more willing because they don't like their neighbor, they don't like the size of their house, and no matter what, they might just refinance and buy Bitcoin with it, right? I sold houses, made a lot of money, bought Bitcoin with it. You never know what the people are going to do with their houses. Are they going to buy more? Are they going to buy less? The next question is too, we talked about macro, Blackstone and Trump's tweet about maybe institutions not being able to buy more than 1,000 properties. Well, Blackstone has what, 57,000 properties? So maybe they have to hold those and they can't buy anymore. But where is that new money going to go? It's going to go somewhere. They're looking for hard assets. That's why they bought real estate, which is beautiful in the first place. But they might go into Bitcoin. So more liquidity into Bitcoin is great. Can I guarantee that? No. Do I believe over time, no matter what, all these coins are going to be sold? They're all going to be held on, and it will only take a certain price that people are going to be willing to sell. Hey, I'm going to go buy another castle. You know what I mean? I'm going to go buy a yacht, a boat, or whatever. I do believe that over time, but as long as they're still mining these coins, and as long as there's still no crypto bills and regulation on that part, it's going to take time. But that's okay. Time is on our side. Mark, you're getting a little older though, so I don't know. But everyone else watching,
I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it every day. There's a lot of white showing. But when macro headlines hit like this, the narrative starts spreading fast, right? So what's the biggest narrative retail investors are getting wrong about Bitcoin this week?
oh yeah, man. The headlines are not equal really what Bitcoin is doing and what it's worth. I told you, I don't know if I told you this. I think I saw Patrick McDavid or somebody talk about there's more algorithm bots now than there are people on social media. So these bots are controlling and manipulating and pushing things. They're liking each other's videos. We need a few bots on our videos, man. Maybe we get some pushes here,
Yep.
start growing, get in the Zuber level, right? But we're growing steady and surely, but we're doing it the right way. We're doing it by educating people, by giving them something to laugh about and enjoy. But headlines don't necessarily equal price predictions, so don't get caught into that. ETF flows change daily. A lot of times they're like panicking you with BlackRock sold 5,000 coins today. Well, that's not really how that works. BlackRock, they're just facilitating the coins. So if they're 401k people or people like me, if I sell my IBIT, they're going to have to keep the price steady with Bitcoin, sell the coins. So it's not necessarily BlackRock losing faith or anything like that. That's not happening. That needs to be changed for educational purposes only, that people know what's going on. And the long-term trend is greater than the short-term noise. Yes, it's going to move up and down, but you want to check your real estate. You don't look on Zillow every day and be like, what's my Zestimate today? Trying to figure out my net worth, right? You don't do that, but people do that with Bitcoin or these things that you could, see quickly in volatile stocks or Teslas or assets. Don't do that. Stay off the internet in terms of just watch our videos and that's it and move on.
All right, that was a great wrap up. Let's see if we got anything in the chat. I did see a few questions, and I actually want to bring up something after this if I don't see any questions. Well, hi, they're just saying Bitcoin is a dollar antithesis, not really supposed to be priced in dollars.
Right.
And Jen is just asking, what do I buy today? So I'm assuming you're gonna say Bitcoin, not advice, but that would be your recommendation, right?
Well, I think two things. I've been trying to look for that house in Charlotte because I knew that the prices are going to come down. Trump said that he's going to try to reduce the rates, whether it's through Moran being on the Fed or the new Fed chair. And lower rates just bring more buyers into housing because of affordability. Now, we see a tendency that housing goes up with that problem too. So it's kind of a catch-22. But with the low supply in housing is still an option. That it's a safe option. But what I want to tell you is, again, December, January, even great time to buy a property because usually that's where there's not as many buyers. But I can assure you in the spring, it's going to bounce up. And you might be able to get a deal still right now in real estate. And you definitely, I believe, anything under 100,000 is a steal for Bitcoin, in my opinion.
Yeah, your Halo should bring in viewers. But I'm not sure. So I didn't look too deep into this, but this was on X a few days ago. It was from Bitcoin Junkies.
Okay.
So California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill allowing the state to transfer custody of any Bitcoin or cryptocurrency held on exchanges after 3 years of inactivity. Under the law, inactive accounts on centralized exchanges are classified as unclaimed property.
Yeah. So what's going on is, and this is not to be political, but in California, there's some money being lost because we have too many programs that we give free money to people. You see in Minneapolis, they have the daycare situation, but everywhere has places that they have too much money they're giving. And usually California is allowed to be able to pay those a little easier because we have just such great population, a lot of tourism, and there's a lot of big high earners in our state. Well, one of the things that are happening is the high earners are starting to leave because of these wealth taxes that are happening. Big businesses are starting to leave because they're not giving them any discounts or any benefits to keep them here. And what happens is you could see now with even other laws where they're like, now they have a new speeding law where they're like cameras on. So if you're going 11 miles per hour over the speed limit, they're giving you a camera ticket, or and it's more money if it's 15 miles and so on. They're looking for money, right? They're taxing you on the roads to build the roads, and then they have the fast track. So if you use the carpool lane, you got to pay us more for that. So all this is another way to accumulate. And that's one thing that does bother me, though, even with our current president system and the government system in California, is they're trying to like take people's Bitcoin, which I don't like. Even they talk about Venezuela might have 600,000 coins. Well, the whole point of the coins is because you can't get them. They're on their little drive. But if they start keeping these for the reserve, that bothers me because those are other people's coins. Now, I'm not saying he's a good person. He's a piece of crap. Don't get me wrong. But you get my point. I just don't want them taking people's coins or even trying to figure out how to do that. And I hate when I don't mind programs. Some programs are just really good, whether they're funding schools, police, firemen, whatever else. But you have to really look at the long-term direction and see what's going on. See that the weather right now is showing that people aren't happy with some of the regulations or some of the new laws or rules, and they're starting to leave. And people will always leave where they feel they get a better deal. And the one great thing I love about America, and you know that I teach history, is that any state you live in, you're still American. So you could actually go to the state that you kind of have a better, alignment with politically, and still be American. And that's what's beautiful about it.
I just want to say I see Ranger 1991 tuning in today, and yes, we do our weekly Bitcoin wrap up on Saturday with Coach Nick. So if you haven't, go check him out on his YouTube channel. I just put the link down there so you can subscribe there also. He puts out daily content, Ranger, but today we just do a weekly wrap up, which we're finishing up. So if you got any questions, shoot it in the chat real quick. I did see Dylan ask a question, I believe. Hold on, where was it? What was Nick's strategy for making money with Bitcoin that Jack was referring to?
I'm not sure, but it might be my covered call strategy. It's basically cash flow. You're able to kind of sell your Bitcoin stocks and make money off it. You kind of rent them out. It's pretty cool. So it's a covered call strategy. That's why I own IBIT. But it doesn't just mean IBIT. You can sell with any stocks, but some stocks have more. I can't think of the name right now, but more premium. So like Tesla is a great covered call stock. IBIT is a good covered call stock. MicroStrategy used to be a great one. Right now, they're dealing with their own issues because of a lot of debt and leverage. Even though they're not really in trouble with debt or leverage, people just assimilate when the Bitcoin price goes down, they're in trouble, which they're not. But yeah, so covered call strategy. I literally make thousands of dollars every month, and it's like my rent. It's my cash flow. So that's something I would ask you to look into. I should do a video, but I don't like to edit anything. I like to just talk to you, be real with you. And every day I do the daily HoDL where I try to make it more like the news, and I give you the next up to date thing that happened that day.
We got to figure out how to do it with a not fake account, but not like a, I don't know how to say it, but an account that's not showing your true balances or anything, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta figure out how to do a stream with that so people can follow along and or shoot, maybe we gotta do a private one, right? Like a where they got like a private video or what. Yeah, Flavio is saying problem is nobody want to work hard. That's why people can't afford a house. I used to have 2 jobs. Hyder is saying, yeah, that's garbage to legislate that. Custody is an agreement between the exchange and the owner. Keep the state out of personal agreements. But yes, that is California and how they operate, right? So I think that's really all the. So yeah, Dylan is saying, okay, covered calls. I wasn't sure if it was directly on Bitcoin. I know Ledger X used to have that before they got bought by FTX.
Yeah, so that's why again, a lot of times just like stocks, you could kind of lend against your stock and then never have to pay taxes. You do the same thing with your houses. It's called the refinance. In this case, I just like covered calls. It's really easy cash flow. I could literally make money in 5 minutes. Now, the only risk is your equity could go down during that time, but I don't care because I'm a hodler and I'm holding long term, so that doesn't matter. And the other risk is if it hits your number, like if you get a little too greedy on your cash flow, it will automatically sell your stock and then you have to pay taxes on that. But if you put it at what's called a 10 delta, you could literally spend 2 minutes a week making money for the whole month, or 2 minutes a month, make cash flow, pay all your bills. But the more money you have, the more money you can make. That's just life in general. But that's how it works. You need 100 shares to sell a covered call. 100 shares of Tesla or 100 shares of IBIT. You can do covered calls with 100 shares, and it's called one contract. And I make money. I've sent screenshots to Marc before, but it's just a great tool, easy money. It's a wonderful way for me, like a real estate person. When I found out I could do covered calls, I was so damn excited because before I just bought Bitcoin because I believed in what I saw coming down the pipeline: a new president, less regulation, moving people in and out of Congress that will help benefit Bitcoin. And so I made that move, plus the supply and demand side of it. In addition, I talked about this week about wallets. So on wallets, you have seed phrases, whether 12 or 24 wallets. Some of you like your Bitcoin, just in case, like what would happen with Maduro and stuff, is like, hey, I want to have it on a wallet instead. That's fine. You want it on cold wallets so no one could hack your phone and steal all your money. It's not an unwise thing. I just always get afraid that what if I get, in an accident and my brain don't work or something? My wife could easily just access it, no problem. And that makes it a little safer and better for my family. I'd hate for my coins to be lost and not getting the money I have.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, then maybe give us a quick update on your Charlotte house search.
Yeah, so my Charlotte house search as of right now is a no-go. I put in a disrespectful offer. They felt disrespected by the offer. That's where we're at. It was at 475, then down to 425. I put in an offer for 300 because it needs a lot of work. But in addition to that, it's been on the market for like 225 days, 250 days. The guy was like, I was like, when did he want to sell it? He said last July. So the problem is it's paid off. He bought it for like 30 grand and he just doesn't want to, he wants to get as much. Maybe he needs a certain amount of dollar amount, but I know how much work goes into making it the way I want it, my California lifestyle. We like things a little pretty. I got high taste, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just the facts. I don't have a $600 monthly budget. I got a $12,000 monthly budget, and that is what it is.
Well, it's all for your hair products. That's why you spend.
I'm just happy I still have hair, man.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
Well, I don't see any questions. Like I said, thank you for always doing this. The weekly wrap up is a lot of fun. It keeps me informed too. Like I said, I am not in Bitcoin as much as you are, but I definitely like following it, learning about it, and it is very interesting to see how it reacts to any type of news out there, right? Any type of tweet. It moves.
Yes.
But yes, remember, markets don't reward urgency. They reward patience, discipline, and clear thinking, right? So lead with purpose, pray with intention, and hodl with discipline, right? So